In this video, I am about to show you 10 General Mills brand products you should never buy and 5 you should actually be putting in your cart, starting with the ones to stay far away from and ending with the 5 worth every single penny. Number 10. Yoplait Original Strawberry Yogurt. Yogurt is supposed to be one of the good guys. You grab it thinking you are making a smart choice, maybe even patting yourself on the back a little. You feel good standing in that dairy aisle, tossing it into the cart, and then you flip the container around and actually read what is in it, and just like that, the good feeling is gone. Yoplait Original Strawberry is one of those products General Mills has been quietly selling as a health food for decades, and it really needs to stop. A single 6-ounce container packs around 19 grams of sugar. That is nearly 5 teaspoons of sugar in something people eat for breakfast and call it healthy. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day for women and 36 grams for men. One little Yoplait cup and you are already 3/4 of the way there before your morning coffee is finished. And here is what really gets under my skin. They market this with imagery of fresh fruit and wholesome living. Smiling people, bright colors, farmer's market vibes. But the strawberry flavor in that cup is not coming from whole strawberries. It is coming from modified cornstarch, red 40 dye, and artificial flavoring. A 2019 Environmental Working Group analysis flagged Yoplait Original specifically for having a sugar load comparable to a dessert product, not a health food. General Mills has had years to fix this recipe. They have not, because the formula sells exactly the way it is, and that is all that matters to them. Number 9. Cocoa Puffs. There is a reason Cocoa Puffs puts a cartoon bird on the box going crazy for chocolate cereal. It is aimed squarely at kids, designed to hook them early and build brand loyalty before they are old enough to read a nutrition label. One cup contains 10 grams of sugar, but studies from the Environmental Working Group found that children pour on average 30 to 65% more cereal than the suggested serving, which means the actual sugar intake per bowl is routinely closer to 16 or 17 grams before a drop of milk hits the bowl. General Mills reformulated Cocoa Puffs in 2012, reducing sodium and adding whole grain. They ran big marketing campaigns about it, but the sugar content barely budged. What changed was the press coverage, not the product. Slapping whole grain on the front of the box was a masterclass in distraction. Suddenly, parents feel better about handing it to a 7-year-old every single morning, even though the formula is nearly identical. There is also BHT butylated hydroxytoluene, a preservative used in Cocoa Puffs, listed as a possible carcinogen by the National Toxicology Program. It is banned or restricted in several European countries, including the United Kingdom. Here in the United States, it is still sitting right there in your kid's breakfast cereal without so much as a footnote on the label. General Mills knows this. They just count on you not knowing it. Number 8. Betty Crocker Super Moist Cake Mix. Betty Crocker has been a household name since the 1920s, and General Mills has spent a century building that trust into something worth billions. Which makes it all the more frustrating that they keep putting artificial dyes into their cake mixes and selling it like it is grandma's kitchen recipe. There is something cynical about using a century of goodwill to move a product with an ingredient list like this one. Betty Crocker Super Moist Yellow Cake Mix contains red 40, yellow 5, and yellow 6 artificial dyes. A 2010 report submitted to the FDA by the Center for Science and the Public Interest raised serious concerns linking these synthetic dyes to hyperactivity in children. The FDA reviewed the evidence and did not ban them, but the European Union went further and mandated warning labels on any food containing them, stating the product may have an adverse effect on activity and attention in children. In the United States, there is no such warning. You just get a picture of a fluffy yellow cake and the word moist in big letters. Then there is the sodium. A single serving of prepared cake from this mix carries over 300 milligrams of sodium before any frosting is added. If you are over 60, your doctor has probably already told you to watch your sodium. General Mills knows exactly who buys these mixes. They know their demographic skews older. and the formula stays exactly where it is because changing it costs money and the current version still moves off shelves every single week. Number 7. Pillsbury Grands. Flaky Layers Biscuits Pillsbury is a General Mills staple of the American refrigerator section. Grands. Flaky Layers biscuits are one of their top sellers nationally. You crack open that pressurized can, lay them on a baking sheet, and 15 minutes later something that smells incredible fills the entire kitchen. And then you read the ingredient label and realize that smell is coming from a chemistry set, not a kitchen. These biscuits contain partially hydrogenated soybean and cottonseed oil trans fat, the same substance the FDA officially declared not generally recognized as safe in 2015. While large-scale reformulation eliminated most trans fats from major products by 2018, independent lab testing in subsequent years found trace amounts can still appear in products listing these oils. The reason is straightforward. The FDA allows any product with less than 0.5 grams of trans fat per serving to legally list 0 on the nutrition label. It rounds down. Legally 0 does not mean actually 0. One can of Pillsbury Grands has roughly 5 servings. That is 5 servings of potential trace trans fats quietly adding up while the label says none. And the sodium is its own conversation. One biscuit contains around 530 milligrams, more than a third of the recommended daily intake for someone managing blood pressure, for one biscuit. Most people eat it alongside eggs, bacon, and gravy, each carrying their own sodium load. The math adds up faster than most people realize. Number 6. Cheerios. Honey Nut Plain Cheerios is not the problem here, and that gets addressed in the good half of this video. The issue is Honey Nut Cheerios specifically, which General Mills has spent hundreds of millions of dollars positioning as a heart-healthy breakfast option for 4 decades. The little B on the box, the warm yellow packaging, the can help lower cholesterol messaging. It is one of the most brilliantly executed marketing campaigns in the history of the American grocery store. The only problem is what it is actually selling. A serving of Honey Nut Cheerios contains 12 grams of sugar. The original plain Cheerios contains 1 gram, 12 versus 1. That is not a small gap. That is an entirely different product category wearing the same brand name and leaning on the same health reputation. The difference between those two numbers is the difference between a genuinely useful cereal and one that is functionally a sugary product dressed in a health costume. In 2009, the FDA sent General Mills a formal warning letter about the health claims on Cheerios packaging, stating that those claims exceeded what was legally permissible without drug approval. General Mills updated the language in response, but the marketing tone never fundamentally changed. The heart imagery, the cholesterol messaging, the healthy lifestyle implication, all still there. And the product still carries 12 grams of sugar per serving. That number has not moved in decades, and they have no financial reason to change it. Number 5. Nature Valley Oats and Honey Granola Bars. Nature Valley is General Mills' outdoor, wholesome, rugged American brand. The mountain imagery, the earthy tones, the whole aesthetic screams real food made with honest ingredients by people who probably go hiking on weekends. It is expertly crafted branding. And then you check the ingredient list and find that the third ingredient is sugar, followed by soy lecithin, and that a 2-bar serving delivers 12 grams of sugar, sweetened primarily with syrup and honey, a combination that hits your bloodstream about as fast as a candy bar on an empty stomach. In 2012, a class action lawsuit was filed against General Mills over the word natural on Nature Valley packaging because the products contained processed ingredients that plaintiffs argued legally disqualified them from that claim. General Mills settled in 2013, agreeing to remove or modify natural language on certain product labels. The products themselves were barely touched. The packaging got quieter about the word. The formula stayed put. The bars also contain palm oil, which a study published in the journal Nutrients in 2020 associated with increased LDL cholesterol levels in certain population groups at regular consumption levels. One bar is not going to cause measurable damage on its own, but people eat 2 of these every day because they genuinely believe they are making the healthy snack choice. That gap between what the packaging implies and what the product does is exactly what the entire business model is built on. Number 4. Pillsbury Toaster, Strudel Toaster. Strudel hit American shelves in 1985 and never looked back. For an entire generation, it was a Saturday morning ritual, the flaky pastry, the little icing packet you smeared across the top however you felt like. It is hard to be angry at it as a childhood memory. But as something you are eating regularly as an adult, trying to make reasonable food choices, this product is not looking out for you. A single pastry contains around 180 calories, 8 grams of fat, and 14 grams of sugar. Add the icing packet, which almost everyone uses because what is the point without it? And the total sugar load climbs to 19 or 20 grams. For breakfast, before anything else. And most people eat 2 because General Mills knows exactly how many they put in a box. The ingredient list also includes TBHQ, tertiary butyl hydroquinone, a petroleum-derived preservative that a 2020 review through the National Institutes of Health flagged as potentially linked to immune function disruption at higher exposure levels. Europe restricts its use heavily. Canada maintains strict concentration limits on it. The United States permits up to 0.02% by weight in food products. Regulators say that level is safe. But when this product is sitting in millions of American kitchens and being eaten most mornings of the week, that cumulative daily exposure picture looks considerably less reassuring. Number 3. Lucky Charms. There is almost nothing lucky about what Lucky Charms does to your body if you are eating it with any regularity. General Mills launched the cereal in 1964, and it has been one of their most recognizable products ever since. The marshmallow pieces, internally called Marbits, manufactured by a separate company, are the hook. Bright artificial colors, intense sweetness, and a texture completely unlike anything else in a cereal bowl. Kids go wild for it. That reaction is entirely engineered through decades of product refinement. 1 cup delivers 10 grams of sugar. But the sugar content is almost secondary to what happened in 2021, when hundreds of consumers independently filed complaints with the FDA reporting nausea, vomiting, stomach cramping, and diarrhea after eating Lucky Charms. The FDA opened a formal investigation. As of 2022, General Mills maintained their testing, found no safety issues. The complaints were never definitively tied to a single cause. But hundreds of independent reports of identical symptoms from the same product is a pattern that deserves more than a corporate statement saying everything is fine. The cereal also contains red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, and blue 1, the same synthetic dyes that carry EU warning labels about potential behavioral effects in children. General Mills has pledged multiple times to remove artificial colors from their cereals. Lucky Charms still has them. The deadlines keep shifting. The promises keep coming. The dyes stay in the box. Number 2. Totino's Pizza Rolls. Totino's is a General Mills brand deeply embedded in American snack culture. Pizza rolls are their most iconic product, quick, cheap, and engineered to be difficult to stop eating. A serving size is officially listed as 6 pieces. Nobody in the history of Totino's Pizza Rolls has ever stopped at 6 pieces. Not once. That number exists on the bag for regulatory purposes. It has nothing to do with how people actually eat this product in the real world. Here is the nutrition breakdown on that official 6-piece serving. 220 calories, 7 grams of fat, 400 milligrams of sodium. Scale that to a realistic 1 5-piece snacking portion, which is genuinely conservative for most people watching a game, and you are looking at over 1,000 milligrams of sodium in about 10 minutes on the couch. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams per day total and closer to 1,500 milligrams for anyone managing cardiovascular health. One real-world Totino session and half the daily sodium budget is already gone before dinner is even considered. The filling also contains mechanically separated chicken made by forcing chicken carcasses, including bones, through a high-pressure sieve to produce a paste-like protein material. It is cheap, heavily processed, and requires aggressive seasoning to taste like anything recognizable. It is technically legal. General Mills counts on customers never looking that phrase up on a label. They are right about that more often than they should be. Number 1. Fiber One Chewy Bars Chocolate Fudge Brownie. Here is where the frustration hits a genuine peak. Fiber One is positioned as one of General Mills' core wellness brands. The entire concept is that you get your daily fiber conveniently, feel fuller longer, manage your weight more easily, and do something good for your digestive health. The Chocolate Fudge Brownie Chewy Bar sounds almost too good to be true. A brownie with 9 grams of fiber that is actually healthy? Here is what stays off the front of the box. That 9 grams of fiber is primarily chicory root extract, also known as inulin, a fermentable fiber that causes significant gastrointestinal distress in a large portion of the population. Gas, bloating, cramping, and diarrhea are commonly reported effects. In 2016, the FDA ruled that synthetic isolated fibers like inulin do not automatically qualify as dietary fiber on nutrition labels because their health benefit evidence does not meet the same standard as fiber from whole food sources. General Mills fought the ruling and eventually got inulin included under a separate qualifying category, but the gut problems for real consumers never went away. The bar also contains 8 grams of added sugar and multiple artificial flavors. It is a sugary processed snack dressed in wellness packaging and sold at a health food premium to people genuinely trying to do something good for their bodies. The deception operates on multiple levels at once, which is exactly why it earns the #1 spot. It is not just an unhealthy product, it is an unhealthy product actively presenting itself as medicine. Now, look, going through all of that is frustrating, and honestly, it should be. General Mills is one of the biggest food companies on the planet, and a lot of what just got covered is the result of decades of putting profits ahead of the people actually buying their products. But here is the thing, not everything they make deserves to be thrown in the trash. Some of their products genuinely hold up. Real ingredients, real science behind the claims, no smoke and mirrors. So here are the 5 General Mills products that actually earn a spot in your cart. Number 5, plain Cheerios. Original. The original yellow box, plain Cheerios. 1 gram of sugar per serving. Not Honey Nut, not Frosted, not any of the 30+ varieties they have created since the original. And this cereal actually does what it says it does, which cannot be said about most products from a company this size. The FDA approved General Mills' cholesterol-lowering health claim for Cheerios in 1997 based on the beta-glucan soluble fiber content from whole grain oats. That approval was not built on General Mills' own internal research alone. Multiple independent peer-reviewed studies, including a 2015 meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition, confirmed that 3 grams of beta-glucan per day is associated with measurable reductions in LDL cholesterol levels. General Mills did not manufacture that data. The science existed independently, and the product genuinely delivers what the research describes. Plain Cheerios has 1 gram of sugar, 3 grams of dietary fiber, and a clinical track record that most breakfast cereals cannot begin to match. It is affordable, stocked at every grocery store in the country, and legitimately useful for heart health when eaten as part of a reasonable diet. This is one of those rare cases where a company built a product around a real, verifiable benefit and did not feel the need to load it with sugar and dye to make it sell. The frustrating part is how rarely they apply that same discipline across the rest of their portfolio. Number 4. Annie's Homegrown Shells and White Cheddar Mac and Cheese. General Mills acquired Annie's Homegrown in 2014 for approximately $820 million. And the natural food community braced for the inevitable formula degradation that usually follows a corporate acquisition. It has happened plenty of times before. Big company buys beloved clean label brand, quietly cuts costs, rides the brand equity down. But with Annie's Shells and White Cheddar specifically, that story did not play out. The product is certified USDA organic, uses no artificial colors or synthetic flavors, and the cheese powder comes from real aged white cheddar, not a synthetic flavoring compound. No yellow 5, no yellow 6, no synthetic dye of any kind. A 2020 independent analysis by the Clean Label Project rated Annie's Mac and Cheese among the top performers in the entire boxed pasta category for ingredient transparency and absence of concerning additives. The sodium sits around 570 milligrams per serving. Nobody is pretending boxed mac and cheese belongs on a strict health diet, but within the category of convenient processed foods, this is a meaningfully cleaner product at a reasonable price. General Mills kept their hands off the formula. That deserves acknowledgement. Number 3. Cascadian Farm Organic Harvest Berry. Granola Cascadian Farm is a General Mills brand operating as a fully certified organic line. And their Harvest Berry granola is one of the cleaner granola options available in mainstream American grocery stores, the kind most people actually shop at, not a specialty retailer charging double for the same ingredients. The first 3 ingredients are whole grain rolled oats, organic cane sugar, and organic sunflower oil. No high fructose corn syrup, no artificial preservatives, no synthetic dyes, anywhere in the formula. A 2021 review of grocery store granola products by the Cornucopia Institute, an independent organic industry watchdog organization, rated Cascadian Farm among the more transparent producers in the organic cereal space, specifically noting their commitment to supply chain integrity. The sugar content is real at around 13 grams per serving, and granola has never been diet food. Nobody is claiming otherwise. But compared directly to Nature Valley with its lawsuit history, palm oil content, and deceptive natural marketing, Cascadian Farm Harvest Berry is a genuinely better product with certifiable sourcing behind it. The USDA organic certification requires ongoing third-party verification. General Mills has maintained that standard on this brand since the acquisition, and that is not something you can fake. Number 2. Larabar Peanut Butter Chocolate Chip. General Mills acquired Larabar in 2008 and has largely left it alone, the highest compliment you can give a corporate parent in the food industry. The peanut butter chocolate chip Larabar contains 3 ingredients: dates, peanuts, and chocolate chips. That is the complete list. No gums, no syrups, no preservatives, no protein isolates, no artificial anything. Just 3 whole food ingredients pressed together into a bar that somehow tastes better than products with 30 ingredients designed in a food science lab. In a 2019 Consumer Nutrition Bar comparison evaluating ingredient transparency across the snack bar category, Larabar consistently ranked at or near the top for having the shortest and most recognizable ingredient profiles available at mainstream retail prices. The protein around 7 grams per bar comes entirely from whole roasted peanuts, not synthetic concentrate. The sugar comes from dates, a whole food source rather than refined added sugar. For a market absolutely flooded with products hiding poor ingredients behind clean-looking outdoor branding, Larabar is the genuine exception that proves the rule. General Mills bought this brand and let it speak for itself. In a food industry full of acquisitions that degrade what they purchase, this one stands apart. Number 1. Progresso Light Zesty Santa Fe Style Chicken Soup. This might be the most underrated product on this entire list and one of the best value propositions in any mainstream American grocery store. Progresso is a General Mills brand, and their light soup line, specifically the Zesty Santa Fe Style Chicken variety, delivers real protein, real vegetables, and a genuinely filling meal for under $2 at most major U.S. retailers. A full can contains around 140 calories and 18 grams of protein. The sodium lands at approximately 1,260 milligrams per can, worth being mindful of, but that is significantly lower than comparable competition. A can of Campbell's Chunky Chicken Soup runs over 1,700 milligrams of sodium. The protein here comes from actual white meat chicken, not mechanically separated paste. The vegetables are recognizable. The ingredient list is short enough to read without looking anything up. For someone on a fixed income trying to eat filling, reasonably nutritious food without spending a fortune, Progresso Light Chicken Soup is one of the most honest products General Mills makes. It does not oversell itself or claim to be a wellness product. It is a good, affordable, warm meal with real protein and a clean enough ingredient list to feel comfortable about. When a company this large gets something right, it deserves to be said plainly.